The second major signal to look for is a profound, intentional drop in her emotional defenses, which manifests as high level vulnerability. Women are naturally hyper aware of social safety, and they keep their psychological walls tightly guarded around men they do not fully trust. The moment she begins to willingly share her genuine fears, her childhood insecurities, her private heartbreaks, or her wildest, unedited dreams for the future, she is opening the gate to her inner sanctuary. She is stripping away her social mask and handing you the keys to her authentic self, because your presence provides the rare, unyielding emotional security she needs to feel completely protected. This vulnerability is the highest compliment a woman can pay you, and it is a definitive sign that love is taking root. If you respond to this openness with steady, non judgmental strength, you solidify that bond. If you dismiss it or make her feel foolish for sharing, you will watch those walls snap shut instantly, sometimes permanently. Finally, you must look at the undeniable physical and behavioral investments she begins to make in your presence. On a physical level, her body language will naturally and completely unconsciously begin to mirror yours. If you lean back, she leans back. If you cross your arms or take a sip of water, she will often replicate those exact movements a few moments later due to a biological phenomenon known as limbic mirroring. She will actively manufacture subtle excuses for physical contact, whether it is playfully brushing against your arm while walking, fixing a stray thread on your shirt, or letting her touch linger just a second longer than normal when greeting you. Behavioral investment goes even deeper. She will start prioritizing you in her schedule, rearranging her plans with her friends, or shifting her daily routines just to ensure her path crosses with yours. She is actively weaving you into the very fabric of her lifestyle. Stop wasting your energy anxiously waiting for her to say the words, "I love you," out loud. Read the rich, undeniable text of her actions, respond to her signals with steady, masculine confidence, and allow her emotional attachment to deepen naturally. Why men sabotage their relationships? It is truly heartbreaking to watch how many men completely smother a good relationship right when the beautiful spark of attraction is finally starting to grow. They enter a woman's life, build an incredible initial connection, and then, right at the peak of her growing interest, they completely panic and single handedly destroy the entire dynamic. They don't kill the relationship because they lack potential or because the woman didn't care. They kill the fragile flame of attraction because of their own deep seated insecurity, massive overinvestment, and a total lack of emotional control. The moment a woman begins to show genuine affection, these men get hit with an intense wave of anxiety, terrified that they might lose her. Instead of remaining the calm, centered, high value man who attracted her in the first place, they completely shift their behavior and begin suffocating her with pressure, treating her like a fragile prize they have to desperately hold on to. The absolute biggest and most common mistake men make in this sabotage cycle is falling into the trap of over-validation. The second a woman gives them a green light, whether it is a warm compliment, a fast text reply, or a great date, the average man instantly goes into overdrive. He starts bombarding her phone with nonstop text messages, showering her with excessive praise, buying unearned gifts, and declaring his absolute devotion. While this behavior might look like romance on paper, it feels completely overwhelming and low value to a woman's psychology. When you hand over your complete, unyielding devotion before she has ever had the chance to work for it or earn it, you immediately lower your own value in her eyes. Human beings are fundamentally wired to value what they have to invest in and earn. If your attention, your love, and your loyalty are handed out cheaply to anyone who shows a tiny bit of interest, she will instinctively assume that your attention isn't worth very much. The second devastating mistake that ruins relationships is the sudden and total loss of your personal mystery. In the early stages of a connection, a woman is intensely drawn to the unknown. She wants to peel back the layers of who you are over time. But the sabotaging man gets comfortable and immediately lays out every single thought, fear, insecurity, and future plan on a silver platter from day one. He leaves absolutely nothing to her imagination. You have to remember that love and passion thrive heavily on curiosity and anticipation. When you tell a woman everything about yourself right away, text her your entire daily schedule, and make yourself completely available 24 hours a day, you strip away the exact emotional thrill that keeps her thinking about you when you are not around. You transform from a fascinating, deep book she wants to read into a completely predictable routine she has already figured out. You must realize that attraction and deep love rarely ever die in a single dramatic, explosive argument. Instead, relationship sabotage is a slow, quiet death that happens through hundreds of small, everyday acts of overgiving, overreacting, and becoming entirely predictable. It dies when you double text out of anxiety, when you lose your temper over a minor misunderstanding, and when you compromise your own hobbies and friendships just to sit around and wait for her to call. Every time you overreact to her moods or change your entire life to fit hers, you chip away a piece of the respect and desire she had for you. By the time a man realizes something is wrong and asks what happened, the emotional damage is already done. He has replaced the mysterious, strong, independent rock she fell for with a fragile, predictable dependent. And once that illusion is shattered, her heart quietly exits the room long before her body does. How to keep her love forever. Now we arrive at the ultimate truth that separates a fleeting, short-lived romance from a powerful, lifelong bond. A woman might initially fall in love with you because you successfully balanced security and desire in the beginning, but she will only stay in love with you if you possess the discipline to maintain both of those forces over the long haul. You have to realize that love is absolutely not a static trophy that you win once, celebrate, and then place on a dusty shelf to admire for the rest of your life. It is a living, breathing fire. If you stop chopping wood and feeding that fire with the exact same behaviors that started it, the flames will naturally die out, leaving you sitting in the cold ashes of what used to be a passionate relationship. Most men fail because they view commitment as a finish line, where they can finally relax, pull off their armor, and stop trying. But true masculinity means understanding that commitment is actually where the real work begins. Let's shatter a massive myth right now. Women do not simply wake up one random morning and decide they just don't love you anymore out of nowhere. When a woman leaves a man, it is almost always because the man silently stopped being the exact version of the individual she fell in love with in the first place. Over months or years of being together, he let himself get comfortable. He stopped leading a relationship. He stopped taking initiative on dates. He stopped challenging himself to grow. And he became emotionally and mentally soft. He traded his sharp edge, his passion, and his independence for the easy routine of comfort and complacency. Slowly but surely, the relationship dynamic shifted completely, and she was forced to look at the man sitting across from her and wonder where that strong, mysterious, anchored individual went. She didn't fall out of love because she wanted to. She fell out of love because the masculine foundation she was resting on slowly eroded until it couldn't support her anymore. If you genuinely want to become the type of high-value man that a woman can never get over, you must make a lifelong commitment to never stop chasing your personal purpose, your mission, and your goals. Your primary focus in life must always remain rooted in your own personal growth and achievements, never shifting entirely onto her. You need to be fiercely reliable and consistent enough to secure her complete trust with her heart and her soul, ensuring she always knows you are her rock. At the exact same time, you must keep your edge sharp enough to keep her on her toes, making sure she never gets so comfortable that she takes your presence for granted. You must boldly protect her world from external chaos, but you can never allow internal comfort to make you weak, lazy, or predictable. You maintain passion by continuing to be a challenge, an independent force who chooses to share his life with her, rather than a needy dependent who relies on her for his happiness. This rare, magnificent balance is the exact secret shared by couples who manage to keep their passion blindingly hot, even after decades together. It isn't an accident, and it certainly isn't luck. It is the direct result of a man who refused to let comfort make him soft, a man who continued to treat himself with deep self respect, and who maintained a frame that subtly communicated he could walk away if he were ever truly devalued. Now, take a long, completely honest look back at your very last relationship or your current dynamic. When you examine how things played out, did she primarily fall for your security or did she fall for your desire? Which side of the scale did you end up ignoring? Let me know your experiences and your thoughts in the comments down below. If this breakdown opened your eyes and gave you the clarity you've been looking for, make sure you drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel for more raw, unfiltered truths, and share this message with a friend who desperately needs to hear it today.